Hey everyone, I am here with kind of a fun new for me project. I keep getting asked for templates, and so I have made a template for a really fun kind of portfolio project. So that means is that when you print it, it's just really in black and white. It will show you your fold lines, your cut lines, and some basic instructions. So for me, when I printed mine, this is kind of a general idea. This is kind of my creation process. And so I could kind of make sure everything would fit. But this is just a general, very rough draft. That's kind of what it would look like if you were to just print it and cut it out and assemble it. And then you could go ahead and add papers and pattern papers and tags and everything where you wanted. What I ended up doing is I printed all of it out on the white, and then I went ahead and on some of them, I printed the pattern actually directly onto the other side of the cardstock. And then I printed lightweight papers from the paper I wanted and have just cut and covered what I want. So anyway, it's turned out to be really fun. But I'm kind of going to show you how this goes together. So what we have here is our main page, and I did all the inking and sewing, but when I printed this, all it was that white rectangle with these little fold lines here, and that's where you're going to fold. So it just looks just like a little kind of book cover. And then I went ahead and printed the paper and glued it and kind of folded it around the edges so it'll be nice and pretty. Inked it and sewed. So now you have the two flaps of your little portfolio. This is the first flap. It's the flap that's going to go on the very, let's see, I got my right and left, right side of the page. So it's going to come right here, and you'll notice that there is a tiny spine to this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down. Maybe. I will eventually. Here we go. All right, let's try that. There we go. All right, I'm gonna give that a nice, good amount of glue. That's gonna be holding that flap in place. I think I'm gonna even go ahead and kind of give that a nice smear because I want it to really have good coverage there. All right, now I need to carefully line this up with this edge. So I'm gonna get right down in there, line everything up the very best I can, which is tough to do on camera. I know you guys don't have that much trouble at home. All right, lining that up. Give that a nice good push and make sure that kind of all lines up. Beautiful. Okay, so now we have our side flap. We're going to go ahead and add in this top flap, which also has a small spine. And that one's going to just come right here. So I'm going to go ahead and give this flap a good glue. So in the kit, if you want to try this, then this is called the main body. This is like the right flap. This is the top flap. So I tried to give them names that will be nice and intuitive, but I thought it would still be nice to have the video to reference the final where everything goes. So, all right, that is going to be drying. Now, we're going to go ahead and just cover all of that using this paper right here. So I'll just pull that up for a minute while I give this a good glue. I'm going to get ready because it's quite a good amount. So for sure, hitting those edges. And then give it a nice good glue throughout that whole thing. This is going to be fun to get centered. We got one shot. All right. It's okay if it's not exact perfect. We're just putting it down in there and giving it a nice press. All right, there you go. All right, we did pretty good, not too shabby. I'm gonna go ahead and refold along. Let me get that, let that dry for just a second before I fold on it. There we go. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and fold that back on itself now, just to fold on that bottom paper that we just glued in. There you go. Awesome. Okay. We are ready. All right, so now there are all sorts of fun little embellishments to add, which will not be that bad, I promise. So let's go ahead and start. Right up on this, we have this fun little belly band that's going to go there. And it has this cute little envelope that's going to go in that belly band. I'm making sure I have everything. Yep, that's correct. Okay, so all we have to do for this is put that belly band in. You'll notice on this too that I have sewn around the edges of just the belly band. I sewed on a few things, not too many, mostly just for fun, but just so you know that I did that. All right, so here you'll see I kind of bent that one wrong and I had to redo it. So just know that that is by accident, not on purpose. And I have pretty stuff on the back because I printed on another piece that was on the same page. But you don't need to have anything pretty on the back. All right, we're gonna put that down and make sure that that doesn't inhibit the bend in that. Hopefully you can see that, there we go. All right, and just like that, your belly band is done. And we have our cute little envelope. So this is, you can kind of see what those fold lines are gonna look like for you, because I didn't print anything on the back except for where it was gonna be visible. And I just cut and pasted that, I just glued it on. So hopefully that made sense, because I didn't print that. All right, I'm sure you guys have worked with templates before. This isn't anything too complicated. I'm probably making it sound harder than it is. All right, go ahead and assemble the envelope. And then that's ready to stuff with whatever you want, depending on what kit you're working with. So that's gonna come in here, and the belly band is done. All right, let's see. Next, we have these really fun little triple pockets, and I have one for each side. So one's going on this side, one's going on this side. And all you have to do is, I've added on the template, let me show you, little dots so you know where your line of glue should go. And I lightly scored mine just because I like kind of that look. So I'm going to glue the 3 tabs as well as those 3 lines so that that will give me 3 separate pockets for my different tags that I'm putting into my little triple pocket. Ah. And this is going to be a chunky, thick, solid, sturdy folio because I've made everything for mine with cardstock. So that's going to be a nice, solid, finished product, which I like. It makes you just feel so good. I'm going to make sure I've got that fold. Not the straightest. There we go. All right. And now those glue beads right there will hold that down as well for that little triple pocket. All right. Now we just have one on this side. So exact same thing. And I just made it so that the tags are going to be easier to pull out and not be pulled toward the spine. So hopefully that works. Technically you could reverse the pockets so that it would be on this side and you pull your tags out this way. But I like to pull my tags out away from the book because stuff in the book tends to get in the way. So I tried to think of little things like that when I was assembling it. Hopefully this is really like the first time we've really done a template. So I'm learning, but I really love how this is coming together. All right, so now we have that. I'm thinking, what's next? Oh, I know. Okay, so we have this fun like giant envelope enclosure that's gonna come right here. And what that is just a little pocket here. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down first. You'll notice I tried, this is like for me anyway, a printing tip. I tried to use a lot of the neutral pages for the background. So you'll notice this theme kind of throughout. And that is because I think it just looks really nice to have kind of that neutral foundation and then come in with fun little accent colors. All right, making sure everything is still folding how I want it to. We didn't seal anything we didn't want sealed. All right, now I have the flap of this envelope and I decorated both sides of this, not this one, but both sides of this because when I open it, it's gonna come right up here. So I did want both sides of that to be pretty. And I guess I probably should have glued that down when I had this lifted. Let's see how glued it is. Ooh, it's too glued. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna put it right on top and I'll just have that cute little tab there that won't matter because it'll be covered by ephemera anyway. But next time I'll remember that I want that tab to go underneath there so it kind of, all right, let's get that down and then I'm gonna just line it up with my little envelope. So it's to look like a huge envelope is kind of the effect that I was going for. All right, that looks good. Looks nice and straight. Okay, so now I have these fun little, these are just from the paper. I just cut out some circles and I'm gonna go ahead and use some of this just baker's twine and go ahead and make a little closure for this. I like to use these little chipboard, they're actually bingo pieces from a thrift store. I'm almost out, so I'm gonna have to go try to find more. But I really like to use those just because it gives it a little depth and it gives it place for that string to hide when it's wrapped around. So I go ahead and I glue those in the center and I glue the little chipboards on first and let them kind of dry, but then I can get them centered. All right, there we go. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, let's see, let's do this one. Now I'm gonna put a really good amount of glue on here because my string is gonna come under there as well, just to be stuck to this whole thing. So it'll squish into place and be held on very nicely when that glue dries. So I'm just kind of eyeballing the center there. And I can't decide if I want my other one down lower or up a little closer. I kind of like, I think I like it closer. So I'll put it up higher this time. I don't know, you can do it where you want. That's gonna come right up here. Then I'm gonna let those dry a good long time. So while those are drying, let me explain the cute little tags that are going into these little pockets. So these are the tags. And you'll notice that they have a fun little tab, and the tab is double-sided, but it's only placed on the front of the card, and I sewed it. Let me get it up close for you. But if you place the tab on both sides of the card, then it won't open. I just wanted a nice chunky tab. That's why I did it double-sided. But if you wanted, you could technically cut that in half and save half of them for another project. All right, so these are coming into our triple pockets, like so, maybe. It's getting caught on something in there. Oh, it's the tab. There we go. Once you kind of get the first one going, the first time that you put it in, then it'll be easier for you the next time. It kind of gets used to it. Or you could do, and this is what I should have done, see, I'm learning, is a layer of book tape, like book binding tape, along that seam in there. Glued that down first, and then it would make it so that that doesn't catch on that tab inside of this pocket. I'm really struggling here. All right, we can put those in later. I don't want you to have to sit and watch. But here's one that's not made. I just wanted to show you. They, you can make them pretty on both sides or whatever you want. And then I just put that tab here and sewed it into place. And that way when it opens, that tab on the back will just open up. That was a really good view for you. Sorry. All right. There we go. So let's see. Oh, and then this is ready for you to put whatever you want in. I was thinking almost of just doing like a giant tall tag, or even just a folded up coffee dyed paper ready to write on. All right, that piece is ready to go. I'm gonna keep letting that dry before I trim or anything. All right, now we have this guy and we have this guy. This is going to be our fun little library pocket. Now I'm going to assemble this over here and I'll show you. So since this is the only part showing, I only put paper on that little portion of it. But this is a nice, do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna grab my book binding tape and I'm gonna show you what I mean by book binding tape. So let's see. I'm just gonna cut, and you can really use any tape. It doesn't have to be fancy. It could just be masking tape if you want. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna glue that little tab. Hopefully I'm in frame. Yes, I am. Okay, good. And I'm gonna glue just that tab down. Make sure everything's lined up how I want it. Gonna let that reopen. And then I should have a longer piece. That's okay. But this is the general idea, that you just put it right there so it goes over that little catch right here. And it will just really make it easier for this card to slide down in. Then after you do that, then you can come in. And these ones usually don't get in the way, so I don't worry about them as much. That is some fancy glue work. All right. Then just set that down. And that is gonna need, because it is cardstock, I'm gonna throw a clip on there to kind of let that set up while we make our card. All right, here's the card. So I have this little journaling spot and just a regular old tab. This tab is pretty on both sides, and it can go on both sides of this card, because that's gonna bug me if I don't do some there. And because nothing opens, so the tab won't be in the way. Just put that on. I'm eyeballing it, not too stressed about it. I think I'll go ahead and just use my glue stick for this one. And pop that in. And I like this one to stick up. I think it's just pretty. So now we have this really chunky journaling card where you can add, you could do pretty paper on the back as well. I might come back through and do that, or you could add a picture or some ephemera there. All right, that's got to be dry. And this goes in here. And that slid right in, so that worked really well. Okay, so I'm going to put this in, but I'm going to use this like a tuck to put some coffee dyed paper or another tag back behind here. So I'm only going to actually glue down on these two sides so that that remains open. Let me grab a sample so that I could still tuck something back in there. So I'm going to give it a nice good bead. There's my no corner tuck. I'm gonna give that a good amount because this is a nice chunky bit of ephemera. And you can make it a little chunkier for this because there's room with those little, these little edges give you a little more room to do a little more fun stuff. All right, that one is now done. It will flip up. There's our belly band. And we have one more. Oh, here it is. All right, these are just some triple pockets. So let's go ahead and put those in place. I sewed around them. You'll notice on these two, oh, let me get closer. I stopped, and that's because it's going to be covered anyway. So you don't need to see all of that. I'm not going to worry about the tape on these ones because the things I have going in here aren't going to be so tall that they're going to have to be tucked down right to the bottom, like they do with the little triple pockets. And that is coming here. And with 3 of these with cardstock, it is kind of a chunky little bit, but it's solid. And that was kind of what I wanted, was to give you a nice solid portfolio base to start with. You could use any paper with these, any scraps that you have. Use it again and again. Just print your portfolio, assemble it, and then decorate it, or get that paper on there before you assemble it, which is what I have done here. So either way, wow. I was cutting it close. I really wanted to use this paper for that one, but I hardly had any left. So I found a spot that would barely fit without me having to print more, which is nice because then we don't have all those leftovers to use up. All right, last pocket. I'm just giving those a nice good press down while that lots of glue dries up. All right, we have one more piece to add, and this is really good because I'm learning. Yep, I probably should have put that one down first too, because now it's going to be right here. So I should have put it under. Ooh, that one might be up enough that I'm going to do it. I'm going to slide it under there, I think. Maybe it's not big enough. Not quite enough. Let's see if it's going to cooperate. I don't want to rip anything. I think because of that stitching, I might be able to do it. All right, so this front cover has a little flap. Let's see if I've got it enough. That's perfect. I can get it in there. All right, so let's go ahead and put that little flap down. I'm gonna tuck it under, and I'm gonna just put glue on both sides because then it will glue back down the paper that I just peeled up. All right, so that's going to be a nice gluey mess to put in there, and then I'm squishing that down really good too. Beautiful. All right, so you have a fun little flap on the front. I'm going to give that a really good, I don't know where my other bone folder went. There we go. So when that flap's open, we have just this tiny little tuck, and I did sew around that as well, but obviously that was just preference. And I have a tiny tag for this one. But as you can tell, right now what I have is a awesome solid base for a portfolio that I can come back through and add all my tags, my ephemera, my pictures, my writing, my embellishments, my eyelets, my, you know, lace, whatever it is I want to add. I kind of made this with the idea in my mind of a Father's Day folio. So that was kind of what my thought process was as I made it. And you'll see that this is actually the June subscription kit, which is like just a man kit, because sometimes it's hard to find those. So I thought that would be a fun one for June. So that's so cute. You guys, I love this. Like, it's just solid and chunky and heavy. So quick flip through. We have the front of our little folio, and you open that up and you have your little tuck with your little tag. And then you open that first page and you're gonna have your 3 tags right here. And then you're going to have 3 tuck spots here that'll get some fun stuff in. You open that and you're gonna have 3 more tucks right here. And then you've got this side tuck here with a library card that pull out. Let's see, flip that up and you have your belly band with a ginormous envelope, a huge coin envelope. Oh, hopefully you can see that better there. And then you have this cute little enclosure. I probably have too much string, but that's okay. That'll flip up and I will go ahead and embellish that and put some fun goodies in there. So anyway, yes, I love it. I love this concept because then you can use whatever papers you have. So hopefully that will be something that will be useful. And yeah, I'll post all the links down below, but really just a fun project. I will say it takes time because you have to think about what papers you want up against other papers. So you can't just really throw any paper in there. You need to think ahead and kind of plan out like which ones are gonna look good together. So that's why it does take a little longer to prep for this, but actually putting it together, not too bad. So I will embellish this and I will come back for another video to show the finished product. So anyway, thank you so much for watching and we will talk to you later. Bye.